Okay, I'm at a loss. I don't get it. It wasn't too long ago we had the Uber Eats driver killed. A couple of kids, I think they were like 12 and 15 or something like that, or 13 and 15. Tried to pull off a carjacking, ended up killing some poor bastard. We had the case down in Louisiana where a whole bunch of little kids, they're like 12 through 15 years old, stabbed a girl to death in a Walmart. Oh man, this is getting bad. Here we have children, 12 and 14. 12 and 14. By the way, one's a boy, one's a girl. Use AK-47, other guns, and shooting rampage on Volusia deputies. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how things have gone south on us in terms of parenting here. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnnie Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnnie Walker Dread Show.
Developing this morning, a dangerous situation involving kids in a Volusia County neighborhood. Deputies say they had no choice but to return fire after a 12 and 14-year-old started shooting at them. And one of those kids was armed with an AK-47. This happened last night at a home along Enterprise Osteen Road, east of I-4. Mark Lehman is there live for us this morning. And Mark, deputies say they tried for hours to de-escalate this.
Yeah, the sheriff says deputies made several efforts to try and calm things down at this home here last night. But on every occasion, the sheriff says deputies were met by gunfire from the children who broke into this home. The sheriff expressing disbelief over what happened and outrage over what he calls a failed juvenile justice system.
Pretty nice place. If you're going to break into a house, that's the one. Gotta love Florida with all of that greenery.
This is something I've never seen in 35 years of policing.
The Volusia County Sheriff's Office surrounding a home in Enterprise on Tuesday where they say two children, just 12 and 14 years old, opened fire on deputies.
And here's an indication of a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old have it so bad in life that they're going to defy law enforcement and engage them in a gun battle.
I know this dude. He was a sheriff, I think, was it Seminole or Shawnee? One of those two. Pretty sure.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood says the children ran away from a group home, a place they responded to nearly 300 times last year.
Okay, I checked. Yeah, that's the former deputy in Shawnee. I'll be damned. Always wondered what happened to him.
What the hell is the Department of Juvenile Justice doing, sending these kids to places that can't handle them?
According to investigators, the 12-year-old boy and 14-year-old girl broke into a nearby home where they found a shotgun and AK-47. Chitwood says the deputies were met with gunfire as they tried to de-escalate the situation.
But they took rounds, multiple rounds, before they were left with no other choice but to return fire.
I will commend the deputies. I saw another clip where they were on their radios, I believe, and they were telling each other, no, hold off, let's not shoot any kids here. I will say that they did a pretty good job on this, unlike the cops that shot up the UPS truck. Oh, and what was that one? And was it Sacramento where they fired like 600 rounds into that SUV and ended up killing that hostage? Oh, man. I did a video on that one some time ago. So these cops did really good.
The girl was shot by deputies and rushed to the hospital. The boy was then taken into custody after surrendering.
Thankfully, I have deputies who are going home to their families because they knew what to do. They were well trained.
I will have to give it up to Mike Chitwood. He's a hell of a sheriff. I mean, when he was in Shawnee, he really led that department, turned morale around, started going out there making arrests. He kind of showed them how to do it. And then he took off, and I always wondered what happened. I guess he's now the Volusia sheriff. Along with that one other sheriff, that Grady Judd dude, Florida's got some good leadership there in the law enforcement ranks. I wish more police captains had their kind of professionalism.
No deputies were injured in the gunfire, and we're told the 14-year-old girl is stable after undergoing surgery for life-threatening injuries. Both children are now facing felony charges. As for the group home they ran away from, today we are looking into its history, and we'll keep you updated with what we learn. For now, reporting live in Volusia County, Mark Lehman, Getting Results News 6.
Somewhere along the line, parents quit parenting. It's become epidemic. Students getting pushed into foster homes. How much of this is on them? Well, I mean, they did do it. They knew very well it was illegal, what they were doing. They were shooting at police officers. You don't even need good parenting to understand that that's wrong. Shouldn't be shooting at anybody. Of course, we'll blame the guns. I mean, I had a .30-30 when I was 9 years old. I used to go shooting all the time. Of course, I never shot at any cops, and that was the difference. I would never even thought of doing something like that. And no kid I knew at that time would ever have done that. And yet here we are. Why are these parents even having these kids in the first place? They can't control them. And we keep seeing the breakdown of the family showing up over and over and over again in these horrible tragedies. Micaiah Bryant. Everybody's blaming the foster system. No, Micaiah Bryant's parents are the ones that are to blame for that. The father abandoned her and the mother had no parenting skills and gave up on her. And of course, Micaiah Bryant is to blame. She knows fully well you can't go around stabbing people. But she did it anyway, and she did it right in front of a police officer. What about the Uber Eats kids? Anybody want to guess about their parenting? It's become a rarity when you have a kid who has both parents living in the home and taking adequate care of them. Yeah, that group home that they were in, 300 calls a year. 300. Almost every day, something going wrong. Now, how would you like to live next door to that place? You know, you have your nice little neighborhood, and then all of a sudden you look around and there's some new kids in the house across the street. You're wondering like, well, who in the hell are they? And then all of a sudden it dawns on you, oh no, it's a foster home. And then the next day, here come the police. They pull up and you hear the shouting and the screaming. And the police come the next day. Your house that you had bought for $75,000 is now worth $30,000. Overnight. This is what foster homes do. But I don't know of a better system. Back in the day, they had orphanages. And then I remember when Newt Gingrich proposed that we bring back orphanages. And then Hillary Clinton shot it down, saying it was the return of David Copperfield. His idea should have been bandied around a little bit more. I think orphanages might actually be an improvement over the system we have. No one has to say that the kids in these orphanages have to be beaten badly or whatever. They could have nurses there. They could have good cooking. They could be looked after, kept safe. But instead, we go to this foster system where we just shovel these kids into these homes, and it is not working. And of course, the motivation of the foster parents is what? They get paid. And so they bring the kids in. And often, they're no better parents than the ones that the kids are escaping. So I don't know. How do we solve this problem? In the comments below, let me know what you think. Am I being too harsh on foster parents? Like my video, subscribe to my channel.